What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thanks everybody for support. But this video is entitled Focusing on the Negatives. I remember, and I think I talked about this before, this video with Gilbert Arenas, where he was like, basketball coaches handcuff some of their best players because they don't let them do their thing. They do one negative thing, they yank them out the game. And some of the most dangerous people or some of the most skilled people are able to when they make mistakes, not get yanked out of the game because their coach wasn't focusing on the negatives. And see, when you focus on the negative, you overlook the positives. Now, this goes to a life thing. Because I was watching this, I forgot who video it was. It's like a couple of days ago. But they was like, it's weird because when you deal with people, people focus on all of the negative things you did. And they overlook all of the positive stuff you did. And they can't see any of the positive stuff you did until after they're not around you, because when they're around you, all they can focus on is negative. So you can do 8 things great and 2 things wrong. They only focus on the 2 things you did wrong. Right? And then when you're not around, then the remnants of, wait, they did that. See, all of a sudden, your mind reboots for some odd reason, because normally what happens is they're not around. And now you know what you've missed, right? Same thing happens, when you watch sports and teams and coaches, a person could be doing perfectly well. Same thing with companies, all kinds of stuff. Where a person could be doing good. They're excellent. They excel. They do a lot of good things. But they make mistakes, but you focused on their negatives. So much so that you drove them away. So they go to another company. They go to another team. In relationships, the relationship dissolves. They go to another person. And then you think that they're easily replaceable because you've been focusing on the negatives. Once I get rid of them, it's over with because all they did was this, and this. So now that they're gone, you're looking, and the work ethic is different of other people. I was like, wait, how come they don't work like such and such? Well, why are you saying positive things about them now that they're gone? You missed the work ethic, right? When they're gone, because you focused on the negatives, now you miss maybe their fun spirit, their good, the things that were their good side, the things you've overlooked, right? Nobody's cracking jokes. But you said that person was a clown because they was always cracking jokes. So they're not, I can't take you serious. You just play too much. So now, problem, right? Because you're just focusing on the negative. Person was very giving, right? Now that you're not around them no more, because, you mistake somebody giving for being giving for being too nice, and somehow too nice is a weakness, and this, that, and the third. So now nobody is giving to you, or nobody's too nice. And now you start thinking, wait, well, wait a minute. That's not, I'm so accustomed to things. And this is what I mean by, hindsight is a 20/20. Because when you focus on the negative, that means you were so accustomed to the positives that you thought they were automatic for everybody. So you overlooked all of their positives to focus on their negatives. And once you drove them away, now you see these positive traits just don't exist everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And thus the problem. Because this is why people appreciate it for most part when they're gone or when they're dead. 48 of law's powers make people will respect your absence. And then because you can only see the positives for a lot of people, you can only see the positives when there's nobody to rain down your negativity on. Thus, say what's this, February? So the combine for the NFL is in March. I think the draft is in April. And what you're going to hear is the same rhetoric. This player reminds me of this player. This player reminds me of that player. He has all the abilities of this player. 9 times out of 10, that player is somebody who may be good, but they're speaking for a particular team that got rid of that player. And if they heap a lot of praise on them, or that player that you're talking about was on the team that got rid of them prior to what they're saying about them now. Think about this. I'm a Saints fan. See, the Chargers thought Phillip Rivers was the answer. They got rid of Drew Brees because he got hurt. They focused on his negatives. Oh, he's short. He's blah. He's this. He's short. He doesn't have the biggest arm. He's not that. He's a Pro Bowler, but he isn't prototypical. All these wins at the Super Bowl later, it's a problem. Him being one of the, probably going to be go down in history as the all-time leader in every passing category by the time he retires. That's a problem. Because one man's trash is another man's treasure. Because you focused on the negatives and you threw away your treasure because you didn't see the treasure in it because you were focused on everything that you thought that wasn't good. Thus, going back to the Gilbert Arenas statement about, pulling people when they make mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Everybody. But if somebody is aware of the mistakes that they make and they do their best to correct the mistakes or to make up for the mistakes, then that's a proper way of thinking. That's a proper way of acting. But if you're a person who wants a person to be you want to pull somebody every time they do something negative, then they're not the problem, you are. Because you're not pulling yourself when you're making bad decisions and you're doing negative things. See, the coaches don't bench themselves. The coach don't say, I shouldn't have called that defense. Assistant coach, take the wheel. I made a mistake. I shouldn't do that. I made a bad substitution. Let me take myself out of this coaching job. They don't do that. And the reason why I'm saying coach and player is because, to a degree, you might feel like you're a coach of your life. You make the decisions about who come and goes, and the reasons why they come and go. Coach, general manager, owner, CEO of your life. There you go. And people don't realize when you think about people who are in certain situations where they have to make tough decisions. This is why people can deal with people who have different personalities. Because you having a different personality doesn't mean that they don't get the job done. You having a different differing ideology doesn't mean that they don't get the job done. So when you're focusing on the negatives, you're focusing primarily on your own ego. Cool, no problem. And you've seen a lot of coaches, a lot of CEOs, a lot of owners, a lot of GMs, a lot of parents who focused, a lot of spouses who focused on the negative so much, they thought they were winning when they got rid of the other person who they thought was the problem. And they never really recovered from it. Think about that. And you know what? Because I hate the Cowboys. Think about it. The Cowboys overlooked Randy Moss. Okay? After they overlooked Randy Moss, they tried to replace, I'm going to get somebody else. So eventually they got T.O. Then they got rid of T.O. Too much. Then they got Dez. And then, and now they're looking. And then they got Amari Cooper. Now all of this was after the statement of Michael Irvin was one of the greatest receivers. But when Michael Irvin got hurt, Jerry Jones wanted to get rid of him. And Al Davis said, you don't get rid of people like that. But see, Al Davis had to tell him don't do it. And when it worked out for him, he understood. But when it came down to putting somebody that dynamic in that position again, ego got in the way. Focused on the negatives. So then because he focused on the negatives, he saw Randy kicking his ass every year. I need to get somebody like Randy. You know, so I'm going to make up by getting T.O. Or I'm going to draft people who I think could be like Randy first. You know, that's the Roy Williams and all that. Trade for people like Roy Williams and stuff like that. Then I got T.O. I'm going to get rid of him, cancer. But I'm going to get Dez because I realize what I'm missing. And this is what I mean by, you know, so thus all these picks over the years is really replacements for the pick that you didn't, for the person you didn't appreciate, for the person you didn't look over. I mean, for the person you looked over. For the person you focused on all their negatives until all their positives smacked you in the face. And now you're trying to replicate their positives because you made a bad decision out of ego. So this is all I'm saying. Like, you know, when you focus on the negatives, at least balance out the percentage of what's negative and what's positive. So like, share, and subscribe. Be out with this one. Peace.